9:30 a.m. The Answer, with On the Record with Tiffany and Kevin. And today it's going to be Reginald Ballard, bruh man, as we all know him from The Martin Show, and one of our favorite local guests, Dr. Raymond Bryant. He is the presiding elder of the San Antonio district for the African Methodist Episcopal Church. Welcome, Reverend Brian, and he's also a doctor, and he's the leader of the Food is Medicine movement, and we're here to talk about kidney health. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to see everything that you've been doing with Food is Medicine. But before we get started on that, I'd like to know a little bit tell our audience a little bit about why you're doing what you're doing. What made you decide, hey, we need to address healthcare with food?
The first thing that made me make that decision is that it seems like almost every disease that plagues the African American community starts with food. And that may be true for other communities as well, but definitely our food has been a problem for us for a long time. And, I remember as a child going to family reunions and seeing amputees and wondering what happened to them and why that was an issue in our family. And as I grew, I began to understand that it was caused by diabetes, and it was impacting their health, not only causing them to be amputees, but their kidneys and everything else. So I realized that food was really important early on. But after COVID, it became really clear to me that we had a major problem, and there were tremendous disparities for African American people as it relates to health. And again, food seemed to be the primary culprit. And we participated in distributing food during COVID to families. And we started out by doing food from the food bank. And we realized that the food that we were distributing from the food bank was not really good for the people we were giving it to. The product was going to promote their sickness rather than help them in the midst of a major crisis. And so we made a decision that we were going to start organizing to grow our own food and to grow food that would be healthy and food that would help to heal our people versus giving them things that we knew were detrimental to their health.
Wow. That's a big leap to take. Like, how did you, first I want to ask Reg, because Dr. Brian Reginald is like a huge healthcare advocate, and his entire platform about healthcare is behind food. Because he believes the same thing. Y'all are mission aligned on that.
Funny you say that, because as soon as I got up this morning, I come in here in the den, and my wife over there ironing. She was talking about, this book I'm reading says that you shouldn't have this, you shouldn't have that, and you shouldn't be drinking anything with diet stuff in it. You shouldn't be eating all this starch. You shouldn't be eating pastas. And she just running it down to me. And then I just text her now when you're talking. I say, I'm talking to the doctor right now. It says food is medicine. So it's all about record it. So that's cool, man. I wake up this morning getting hit with everything about it, but I do. We try to eat healthy, man. Now that and it's crazy because my cholesterol always has been high. So and me and my wife been doing vegan and vegetarian on and off, but I really stuck to it since Christmas. And I went and got my blood work done. First time my cholesterol, because I haven't been eating meat, so my cholesterol was like, everything was normal. I had numbers to spare. I had room to eat a couple of pieces of steak here and there, but But no, and that's the truth because what Steve Jobs said, what he said, eat your food, or you'll be eating your medicine that's food, something like that. So you do have to. I believe I'm a big advocate of incorporating a lot of more green, leafy vegetables. I want to have more of that on my plate than I would have meat protein. And food is a major component of illness. The more junk you put in your body, the more body junk you're gonna have in it. If that makes sense. Yeah. So that's cool. I'm glad I got to meet you, Dr. Bryant, because I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
He's a pretty amazing guy, because in order to do what Dr. Bryant is doing, that it sounds simple. All you have to do is just tell people that they need to eat more vegetables. But Dr. Bryant actually began to build gardens at churches across the city on the east side of San Antonio, and piloting. So when he started doing that, I'll let you tell it, but tell him about teaching people how to cook the food. And he just has come up with an entire program so that it really will have the impact that it needs to have.
Yeah, when our biggest issue with us as a people is we don't like anything. When we talk about eating healthy, people immediately shut down because they automatically assume that eating healthy means you're not going to have anything you like.
Yeah, and it's not going to taste good.
Yeah, it doesn't taste good. But our reality is most people have never tried things that are healthy. They've only eaten what they grew up eating. And because they grew up eating things, they think that that's all that there is. But our reality is, as we grow healthy food in the garden, we also know that we have to teach people how to prepare it. And teaching them how to prepare it means that we actually prepare it and let them eat it. Because once you try it, you go, oh, I didn't know
totally different
like that. And it's a game changer if you actually prepare the food and let people eat it. And so I think that a big deal really is to invite people to the garden, to help them see how you grow the food. But then after you grow it, you teach them to harvest it. And after you teach them to harvest it, you also have to teach them to cook it and how to prepare it healthy. I laugh all the time about how people eat broccoli. While broccoli is good for you, when the first thing you do is take out the salt, and then you add a stick of butter to it, and then you put cheese on it, it's
and bacon.
Same product.
You just negated everything that's good about the broccoli.
And that's kind of what we do is the way we prepare it. We actually can make anything unhealthy. And so I think that it's important to teach people how to prepare food in healthy ways, but also it has to be good. It has to taste good. It has to be good to you as well as good for you. And then it's easier to sell them on the idea of making the change and doing the necessary things to improve their diets. But it's a challenge because people won't even try things. And then they try it and they go, oh, that's good.
So how go ahead.
She learned how to prepare raw vegan meals. And she made me a raw vegan tacos. The best tacos I ever had in my life, man. It was all raw vegan. I was like, wow, are you serious? I mean, she put it in the wrap. It was the cabbage wrap, for the taco shell and all. Oh, man, it was so good. And, like you said, it's a habit. This is like in football. Now you can't hit with your helmet no more. You have to hit with your shoulder. So you have to reteach. Athletes now, you can't go in there full blazing with your helmet. You have to use your shoulder now. And it's like food. It's like you say, people, especially in our community, is used to fried stuff and used to gravy. I always joke. I say, man, you come to Texas, like in California, you go to any restaurant and you have vegan options. You go to Texas, it's like, you asking for a steak, they actually want, you asking for a salad, they actually if you want gravy on it. She'll go to In-N-Out Burger out here, and she'll say, I want a vegetable, I want a veggie burger. They already know what it is. They'll make the In-N-Out Burger just like the In-N-Out Burger. They just don't put the meat in it. We went to Texas, and we say we want a veggie burger. We want a In-N-Out Burger without the meat. You don't want the meat? That's Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't even have it on the menu, and they should.
Texas is a big meat state, so
yeah.
Our people, we haven't learned how to eat healthy because, it don't taste right because we used to the butters and the salts and the fried oils and stuff like that, and then that leads to our, the diabetes and leads to the kidney problems and the heart problems because our blood pressure because of the food that we put in our mouth.
There are plant-based butters,
Yeah. Yesterday, I used some last night. I made some stuff, and I used my daughter because my daughter's dairy. She can't have any dairy, and she can't have any gluten either. So bread is out for my daughter, and butters and milk and stuff, and she's slim and healthy. People say something wrong with her because she can't eat bread. Hey, we probably don't supposed to be eating gluten, right?
Yeah.
Somebody letting her know, and she listening. She's not just eating past it. A lot of us are lactose intolerant, but we still drink and eat milk and ice cream because we just eat past it.
And feeling sick the entire time. And still doing it.
Well, you want to know why you're always farting all the time? It's
because your body is not meant to have it. But so how did you, there's always the subject of trusted agency. Getting people to actually make those changes. That's not a simple endeavor. And to me, like, the church is really a great place to spearhead something like that because you are trusted agents in the community. I've watched other programs. We all, in every single city across the United States, there are food banks. Every city has food banks. You mentioned the food bank earlier. But the idea of teaching people how to cook better, other food banks have tried it. It has not caught on in the way that one would expect it to, because of the trusted agency piece that has to be there. You can't just be somebody who's walking in and saying, this is what you need to do. You actually have to be a part of that community because the people who are, it's just a statistical fact. The people who are closest to the problem are the people who need to fix the problem. It's not going to be somebody else walking into Black and brown communities to help them fix the problem of obesity and the food that we're eating. It's us. We actually have to learn how to cook the right food and learn it from somebody who understands what the spices and things are that we like to eat. So how are you able to do that? Like pull people in and, cause I see people showing up to they give away all the food for free, Reg.
Yeah.
Grow all the food, give it away to people. And, I went over there and got me some food too. I was cooking it, and I did it right. I cooked it up right. I didn't put bacon in there or anything ridiculous. And it tastes different. It even tastes different. Like, it tastes different from what you're buying at the store.
Right.
Yeah. I think that it is important to have access to it. And so even when the food bank is trying to do cooking demonstrations, the food that they bring to you is not the food that they're doing the demonstration with. And so you can't tell me how to prepare something that you're not giving me or you're not bringing to me. And therefore, I think that's always an issue, because they spend the money and they have a tendency to always give you starch. They want to bring pasta, potatoes, rice, beans. And so the things that they bring are all starch, and they all promote diabetes. And so that's the beginning of everything when we start on that pathway. But the way to get people to try new things, as a pastor, I was always, people couldn't believe that I told the people at the last church that I was the pastor of, they would serve no more fried chicken. That was not going down. And they didn't know that.
I bet that was a fight. The people were probably ready to throw down on you.
Yeah. In the beginning, I think that they thought that I was just joking. But then they realized that there was no menu that had chicken. And even if they wanted to cater it, I would tell them, you can't have fried chicken. We're eliminating that. Baked, okay, but we're not doing fried chicken. And then we're going to also make sure that every menu we have will be at least semi-healthy. And it's going to pay attention to the reality of the people that we serve. And if half the people coming to this event are diabetic, then the food we serve needs to reflect that we understand that. And so all of the cakes, the peach cobblers, the oatmeal raisin cookies, because you could tell who would go get the cookies first. They were the diabetics. They were the first ones to get them. And so we had to start eliminating things that we knew about. No more donuts for breakfast. None of that. You eliminate all of that. And
exactly.
And over time, people came to expect to find fruit versus the other things. And so you just have to make a conscious decision that you're going to change. And then you gradually implement the change. You don't just throw everything out at once, but you work your way up to a place where what you're doing is going to promote health rather than undermine.
And you've been listening to On the Record with Tiffany and Kevin, with our special host, Reginald Ballard, kidney advocate, and of the famed Martin Show, and our wonderful guest, Dr. Raymond Bryant. And come back and listen, because we're going to talk about food is medicine and what you can do in your community to bring a garden to you.